I just recently came back from this big psychedelic psytrance festival here in Europe called Ozora, and I have a lot of inspiration to talk about some topics related to festival culture. And in today's video I want to talk about tripping at festivals, having a psychedelic experience in a festival, and why it's maybe not good for everyone, why it's not fitting for everyone, but for others it can be. And I want to share at the end of the video also my rules and guidelines. Not rules, I don't like the word rules, but like guidelines I try to follow to have a beneficial experience at festivals with psychedelics. Hey, I'm Werner and this is Psychedelic Actualization. I love to help psychonauts discover and actualize their life purpose so they can live in alignment with who they truly are. If that speaks to you, check out the link in the video description. It will take you to the landing page for my coaching offer. So why even trip at festivals? Why have a psychedelic experience at a festival in the first place? It's kind of such an obvious question, but it's interesting to take a deeper look at this question. And I guess everyone has their own personal intentions and reasons to enter into a psychedelic experience at a specific time and in a specific place, right? But especially those festivals, a lot of people I see are going into it for the fun. And there's nothing wrong with it. We'll talk about it in the next weeks, about recreational use of psychedelics. Very interesting and deep topic. Others go into appreciate art, appreciate the beauty, dance, appreciate sound and the music. Or just connect with themselves and connect with another human being or with a group of people, right? With a group of like-minded individuals. And this connection is beautiful to experience, especially with psychedelics in such a safe environment. And that's the next point, why so many people take psychedelics at a festival, I guess, is that first of all, it's designed to be a psychedelic playground. At least some festivals, like all the little details, all the organization, the whole setting is designed basically to have a good psychedelic experience, to have a lot of fun and appreciate the little details that are being presented in this setting, right? So it's designed to be a safe and fun environment for a psychedelic experience, and that's beautiful. And also with the people, at least depends on which festival and how the vibe is and what the people are like, right? But usually at those like psytrance festivals or more like these alternative medicine, shamanic festivals, there is an environment of openness. An openness that encourages self-expression. And to be able to experience this self-expression in a setting with a lot of other people is very beautiful and very freeing for a lot of people to feel safe to express their true authentic self at a festival during a psychedelic experience, which might not be the case in the city where they're living in, right? Okay, so that's why people feel safe and why people go into psychedelic experience at a festival. And I guess there are many more reasons, I know. As I said, it's very much dependent on the individual, but those are just a few I observed and that come to mind. But still, I want to mention also that it might not be for everyone to go into a psychedelic experience at a festival. And that is because there's an interesting dynamic, especially at Ozora. There's like 30,000 people. It's a lot going on. And even for myself, as kind of an experienced psychonaut or being familiar with psychedelic space a lot, if I go into an experience and it gets a bit more intense, more intense than I anticipated, and I'm out there, it's like I feel, or even in lower doses, I feel a lot of energies, a lot of this openness to also energies that are not fully resonant with my vibe. So to be able to be comfortable with them, with a lot of people, with a lot of hustle and bustle, with a lot of energies around, is one trait, I guess, which might be helpful or a helpful consideration to keep in mind if you contemplate going into a psychedelic experience in such an environment. Also, I found it's designed to be a psychedelic playground, yes, but that might lead to overstimulation. I have been at the end of some LSD experiences at a festival, I've been like my mind has been rendered from all the different music and loud music and all the lights and all the light shows and all the art and all the conversations, and it's a lot of stimulation. And it might be like a little bit overwhelming to have this constant overstimulation, which is even sometimes overwhelming without a psychedelic experience, just being there at the festival, right? So that's another consideration why some people might not go into a psychedelic experience at a festival. And also, I just want to mention that is totally fine to make this decision to be in that place with a psychedelic experience and without a psychedelic experience, right? I guess there's no right and wrong here. And also an interesting point is group dynamics. Depending on, and I'll talk about this in a bit more, depending on if you're alone at this festival or if you're going there with a group of people, both might be a consideration of why you could or could not go into a psychedelic experience. Because with group dynamics, there can be a lot of interesting dynamics going on and a lot of attachment towards staying together as a group, even though some authentic desires of one person of the group are leading them elsewhere, whereas another person might go to a different place. And then this whole group dynamic can play out in a very interesting way. So that's just one thing to keep in mind as well, of okay, who are the people I'm spending my time with? Or if I'm alone, do I feel comfortable alone, right? And also, it's easy to get lost if you're alone and you're or if you're in a group and you're deep into your psychedelic experience, and sometimes the groups break apart and you find yourself alone in a place where you maybe don't know that many people, or maybe you do, but being comfortable with being lost is also a good trait, I guess, to consider. If you're not comfortable by being lost, maybe not even finding your tent or your camp, and then you might have a little bit of a panic, right? I've seen some people being a little bit panicked because they got lost in this whole big field, and then to be able to stay in your center, right, in this overstimulating field with all these energies and just flow with your experience is something to consider. And if you're oh, I'm not able to do all of this, this sounds like a lot, or I'm even not as comfortable in psychedelic space, then that is a consideration of why it's not for everyone. And it might just be that you're in a place in your life or in a place of your psychedelic explorations personally where you don't feel comfortable with this intensity of experience at a festival, even though you might like to go in. But to keep this in mind and to contemplate this for yourself, that's what I wanted to communicate in this video. So ask yourself, how confident do I feel in handling myself during a psychedelic experience in a very unpredictable setting? And journal about it maybe, and just let this question run through your mind, right? How able am I to navigate the psychedelic space and to be in my center and to feel comfortable even though unknown things might happen, right? And only you could know. And I think you should if you go into psychedelic space at festivals. So now some recommended guidelines I follow. One is take care of yourself. Tripping at festivals, especially because festivals are sometimes so packed, you don't want to miss out. There's so much stuff happening each and every day. And so some people and psychonauts decide to go into psychedelic journeys quite frequently, maybe once a day, having a psychedelic experience for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days in a row. If that's you, and you're in this state, just basic stuff, take care of your health, take care of your body, watch your body, take in enough food, eat good, healthy food, not this crap that I see some people eating at festivals. I don't even know how that resonates with LSD or whatever. I just like to stick to fruit and then have a very nourishing meal at the end of the trip. Also, get enough sleep. Psychedelics, stimulants, amphetamines, they can push you up. They can push you through one night, maybe even a second one, and then if there's sleep deprivation, that might add a layer onto the risk of just feeling uncomfortable and dizzy and weird in another trip that you decide to take on the next day. So just food and sleep, basic ones, right? I have a loose rule and a guideline for myself that I do not want to try new psychedelics, new substances at a festival. Because I like to develop a relationship with a plant, with a molecule, before I, just by myself, one-on-one, in a closed, safe setting, or in the forest, just to connect to the spirit of the molecule itself and to kind of get to know the space before I decide to go into such an unpredictable big setting like a festival and engage with a new substance. Like, I don't know, there was something offered to me, 5-MeO MIPD, and it might be a beautiful experience for a festival, but I feel like, I might want to explore the space a little bit further myself before I decide to go in such a hectic setting. And there's an experience where I didn't follow this guideline, where I took my first Silohuasca experience at a festival, and I paid the cost for that. You can watch the video right here. Another one, guidelines. Again, speaking to those group dynamics. Just feel comfortable and confident in yourself with this sense of clarity that I mentioned by answering these questions, that you are not pressured, peer pressured into taking a psychedelic experience. I feel like this desire, this authentic wish or decision to go into a psychedelic experience has to come from within. It has to be an internal, authentic desire, an intention to go into a psychedelic experience, not someone offering or peer pressuring you into a psychedelic experience, right? And same goes for combining substances. Don't be peer pressured into combining substances, or just don't be too loose, I guess. That's what I try to do by trying combinations which you don't know much about or which you haven't tried already. So maybe you are, during a psychedelic experience, you are on LSD during a festival, and then you meet people and you get offered different substances, and they say, hey, it might be cool to take some MDMA on top. It might be nice to take this ketamine nasal spray on top of your LSD experience. But if you don't know much about that combination, and you don't know how to you personally react to this, and you don't know if it's even safe, then better not get peer pressured into this, but stay in your center and stay comfortable with your own decision that you made internally for your experience for the night or for the day. At least that's how I go about it. I know many people are not following that and they are doing fine, but also some people are not following it and they have a very rough and challenging experience. So, last thing, I guess, is know where the safe space is. Know where the safe space is. There's like Psycare, The Haven, Cosmic Care, whatever the organization that is taking care of people who are having a difficult time is. Know where that place is beforehand, before you enter into a psychedelic experience, so you can go there if you do feel uncomfortable and you need some safe space to rest and to trip out and let your trip play out, maybe even with some support. Or have a safe space yourself, like know where your camp is, where people are who can support you. I would recommend not relying on your friends or people, because it might be too heavy for them as well to take care of somebody who is having a hard time, and that might influence their experience at the festival. So better just know where the safe space, the Psycare is, and be able to navigate to that space, right? I have this funny story of at Ozora recently. There's one guy, we were kind of close to that safe space, to the Psycare tent, to the Haven, and then this one guy came, and I was super high, and my friend or two were also very high, and he was like, where's the Haven? Where's the safe space? And there was like, we knew the direction, and in that direction there was like a bright white light, just like shining, almost like you couldn't almost see anything. And right behind that light was the Haven, and we were just like, yeah man, just like walk straight into the light. Walk straight into the light, and you'll get to the Haven. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, you're kidding me. And we were not. We were just honestly saying the truth, but it was hilarious, right? And I'm sorry, dude, like, he might have not believed us, or it was just too good a joke to not be made, right? But it's like, go into the light. And if you meet those kinds of people like me and you're having a tough time and they just say go into the light while you're having like an intense psychedelic experience, better know yourself where you can navigate to that safe space. And I guess last one is integration and decompression. Include that into your considerations when you go to festival, and you might have a lot of psychedelic experiences that there is much to be integrated. Even just being there, all the talks, all the music, all the things, all the conversations, all the people. There is a lot of people have difficulty integrating that back into their lives, and that's also where the coaching is coming in, right? What I'm offering is basically integration coaching of when you have this extraordinary experience at a festival during a psychedelic experience and you come back into your day-to-day life. It is ideal that you take some time and that you just gain a sense of awareness and clarity around who you are, what you're doing with your life, and how you want to show up in your day-to-day life. And if you are feeling this resonance and you want to have some support regarding this, finding your path in your day-to-day life, building and crafting a vision for yourself to integrate your festival psychedelic state into your normal state consciousness, into your day-to-day life, to make that your reality, then you can check out the landing page regarding my coaching offer. Link is in the video description. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I think there was enough said about tripping at festivals. There's a lot more to be said. There's a lot more coming on the channel. I love you all. Have a good one. Enjoy. I hope you got some value out of this.